today I'm going to be starting work on a new cat artwork, and because I'm going to be working on a much larger canvas, it's really not practical for me to film myself creating the entire process from start to finish. Some of those smaller paintings that I do that are sort of 60 centimetres by 50 centimetres, and you can do the conversion of that into inches if you don't know what centimetres are. They take anywhere up to 6 hours to complete over 2 to 3 days. So a bigger canvas would obviously take quite a bit longer, and I really just don't have the hard drive space to be able to record all that. So instead of recording the whole process, what I'm doing is a kind of video diary, and as I did with I think my 3 cats fishing artworks, I'll just sort of report in every now and then and show you where I'm at, and perhaps film me painting bits here and there, but not the whole thing. So that's what this video is about. So let's show you the artwork that I'm going to be working on. Got my sketchbook here, see if we can get this in shot. There we go, I hope you can see that there. Got a cat sort of sitting on a chest of drawers and precariously hanging onto a shelf, trying to reach a little mouse down on the floor. Fairly unusual sort of design for me, because there's a lot of background elements there, and that's going to make this a lot harder to paint, but hopefully they're not too complex, so I'll be able to get on and go through with that. Okay, so what I thought I might try and do was talk you through my drawing the sketch onto the canvas part of the thing. I've got 2 cameras set up. I've got you just down there, and canvas is just off to this side, and I've got another camera set up over here, which is the important one. Right, so I've had a few comments from people who said that they wouldn't be able to just draw straight onto the canvas. They'd have to do like pencil lines and stuff first. And the reason why I don't is because I pretty much draw directly with the paint the same way I would draw with a pencil, and that means I do sketch lines and everything, and you've just got to be sort of confident that your first line that you start with is probably going to be wrong, so you don't want to get too particular about getting things in the right place. So I'm going to start with the drawers that this cat is sitting on, and this canvas is actually thinner compositionally than my sketch, so I've got to really kind of cram this over and make sure my cat doesn't end up being too far onto that side of the canvas. So, but I've also got to have enough room to put a tail and stuff up here, so that circle's roughly where my tail and feet and stuff are going to be. So that's roughly where my drawers are going to be. And you just sort of sketch it in. I'm not really getting too concerned about whether the lines are in the right place. I'm probably going to have to cramp up some of this sketch in order to fit it on, so I've got my tail coming in there and back legs. And you notice I haven't even done anything with that side of the painting yet. I'm just sort of looking at my sketch and adding that in as I go, and looking at the same construction lines that are in my sketch as well. So I know this cat's really arcing its back down here. It's pushing its belly right up against this chest of drawers that's there. And then roughly around here, I know is going to be the other shelf, the bookshelf over here that the cat's hanging onto, and its paw is going to be somewhere like that. It's already, you can sort of start to see my shapes coming in. Cat's sort of pushing even more over to here. Got a foot that has to go in here, and that foot has to hang off the edge. And now I've got to sort of fit the cat's head in under here. So you can see I'm not just trying to do one line, I'm literally sketching the way I would if I was doing this with a pencil, because all of these lines will eventually get covered up by all my paint on top, so it doesn't really matter if they're showing through, or if I do more than one line or whatever. It's not going to affect the final painting as such. And the way things are going, compositionally this cat's going to actually be much closer to the ground than what it is in the sketch. So it's going to be even more sort of precarious for this mouse that's the cat's trying to get. But that's okay. We'll either just have to do a smaller mouse or something along those lines. This is the mouse I'm sketching in here. It really doesn't matter. I mean, it'll still have the same sort of comedic effect. So we've got that, and we've got, like, down in this corner we've got the mouse hole there. The ground coming across. Now I've got all the basic shapes in, I can sort of, just checking my camera there, I can now start blocking in details, because it's roughly got everything how I want it. I can see where things are going, so I can sort of start here. I know that shelf can't be too far over, otherwise the cat's going to be literally breaking its paw trying to hang on to that thing. So let's put the paw in there. I'm just working with straight acrylics, as I haven't mixed anything. It's just a straight primary red acrylic. So I can start doing a cat's face. This cat's actually got a bit of a tongue poking out to sort of show the concentration that it's going through. So you can see that even though it looks like I'm drawing the sketch straight onto the canvas and it's coming out the same as the sketch, it's actually not. And if you compare the two, they're very, although they're the same idea, they're very different to look at, because things have had to change because of the width of my canvas, and just because of where I block things in, I'm sort of adjusting for changes in the way I've drawn things as I go along. It's not just a straight perfect copy of my sketch. Just gonna get these ears in. So now most of the action in this painting is in this area, so it kind of, I don't know how how that's going to be sort of compositionally in the final sketch, but personally I think that probably adds to the sort of random feel of it, in the same way that if you were taking photos of cats, because they move quite quickly, you probably wouldn't get a perfectly composed shot. It might be sort of a bit off center or whatever, so that I think that kind of adds to the sort of random nature of cats as such. So now I've done that, just filling in the final details of the chest of drawers here, which come down to about there. Sort of 2 drawers roughly there. Can do the sort of handles on the drawers. And we've got like books and stuff on the shelves, which are going to go in there. And this shelf over here has books on it, so I can draw those in now. And just sort of get my lines in a bit heavier for the back of this cat, and get its tail happening. So I can sort of see the actual lines that are going to be in the final version. So there you go, that's pretty much my sketch, and what I would do now is use the rest of my paint to get started on my underpainting. And if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that red is my sort of mid-tone colours of my base painting, and I always do like a border going around my paintings so that the edges are slightly darker, and that way the middle of the painting comes out brighter and keeps your attention on the centre rather than having your eye sort of fall off the edges. So just using up the paint I have in my palette. And I don't put a lot of thought into sort of doing this underpainting. It's just like a rough guide to get things moving and get me started on a painting, so I can get a lot done quickly and sort of feel like I'm progressing. So there you go, that's the under sketch, or this initial sketch done onto the canvas, and no pencil lines, straight on with the brush. So this is pretty much the end of day 1 of my painting. As you can see, I've got my base painting complete with my yellow and my red and my blue. And if you look closely on the eyes here, you can see the blue area in the pupils where I've moved the eyes over from the original place that I put them in with the red, because I didn't think the eyes themselves were quite looking at the mouse properly. So usually when I do a painting I leave it at this point and give it a night or so just for the paint to dry, so that this base coat doesn't start mixing with my top colours. So there you go, that's the end of my painting day one. Till next time, we'll see you later.